Hello, I'm Dr. Alexandra Niedzwiecki from Dr. Rath Research Institute. In the information I will be sharing with you today, I will add our scientific perspective to key concerns that we have today. And this is, of course, the threat of coronavirus that brought our daily life and world economy to a standstill. Its larger background and worldwide implication have been presented in Dr. Rath's open letter that you can find on Dr. Rath Health Foundation website. Here, I would like to share with you the basic information about viral infections and also present the results of our scientific work, which we have done on the effects of micronutrients in the control of previous epidemics, earlier epidemics, human influenza virus and bird flu. Humans were fighting viruses since even before our species had evolved into its modern form. And the cause of common flu have been responsible for various they cause common flu, and they have been responsible for various epidemics, including SARS in 2003, caused by similar virus, also coronavirus type, similar to the current COVID-19 virus. Also epidemics of human influenza and bird flu. And viruses also cause other diseases, such as smallpox, which is not a threat anymore because we have effective vaccine against it, but also hepatitis and even AIDS. And while media concentrate on reporting about various attempts to develop vaccines or drugs to fight coronavirus epidemics, they are silent when it comes to the measures that are effective and can be implemented by every one of us immediately. When it comes to these measures, I mean natural ways that we can apply to strengthen and support our immune system function. Our immune system is the only tool that now we have to fight this infection, and in a similar way like we fight all other infections. And this is our immune system that is at our disposal, that we can use to fight, but also conquer the viruses. No one today questions that nutrition and immunity are interrelated. It is well-known fact that malnourished people have weak immune system, and they are prone to a variety of infections, viral, bacterial, parasitic infections. And therefore, low nutritional status, which relates not only to insufficient caloric intake, but also lack or insufficiency of a variety of micronutrients that our immune system needs to function optimally. So if we are low or deficient in those micronutrients, our immunity decreases, disease develops, and of course disease consumes more micronutrients, and this deficiency, micronutrient deficiency, deepens, getting into a simple cycle. And this deficiency of micronutrients would also partially explain why older people are more susceptible to infections, because with age, the absorption of micronutrients decreases. People who have other chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes, they have been related to specific micronutrients deficiencies and many others. So the micronutrient status is very important for our immune system to effectively fight infectious agents. And on this slide, you can see how during the course of infection, starting from incubation period to the time that our body fights during fever, and also recovery, how deficiencies of some micronutrients deeper, how our body retains some of the micronutrients. So this is just an example how dynamic this system is. And by understanding what happens during the viral infections, what are the viruses, we can effectively help our body to be more effective and more resistant to infections. So what is a virus? Viruses are tiny agents, they are smaller than bacteria, that can only multiply when they get inside of the live cell. And it can be human cell, animal cell, plant cell, and also even bacteria. They are built of genetic, they have a genetic material in the form of DNA or RNA, which contains the information that the virus needs to propagate inside the infected cells. And this genetic material is surrounded by the capsid or proteins, lipids, other compounds that the virus needs to attach to the cell and also penetrate cell membrane to get inside of the host cells. On these pictures, you can see on the top part flu virus and different spikes on the surface of this flu virus, red and blue, which represent different proteins. One of them is hemagglutinin, that virus uses as a glue to attach to the cell, and then neuraminidase, that which is an enzyme that the flu virus uses to dissolve some components in the host membrane and get inside the cell. Coronavirus is represented on the lower picture, and coronavirus will use different system than neuraminidase to get inside the cell. But what happens when the virus get inside the cell? They hijack the biological system to support its multiplication, and they multiply until destroy the cell and burst out, spread through the body. So our immune system, including organs that are involved in our immunity, the large number of different kinds of police cells, white blood cells, fight viruses all the way on all stages of infection. And if viruses are not stopped, then our body, then they can damage, of course, our body and become even lethal. How flu viruses infect our body? Through the nose, mouth, even breaks in the skin, and when they are inside, when they are inhaled, they find the host cells to infect. So cold flu viruses infect our respiratory tract, trachea, lungs, but also they infect digestive system. In all cases, our body provides the mechanisms and system to fight off the virus. Antibiotics are not effective in eliminating viruses. They work against bacteria, and most flu medicine, antiviral medicine will address symptoms of the infection, but not eliminate viruses. And you can see that the symptoms of the infection start slowly, first by feeling fatigue, tired, but with time cough develops, fever, and then if the virus is not controlled, there can be problems with lungs, there can be also other infections can surface like pneumonia, and if our immunity is not effective, the fatality can develop. So here I would like to present some results of our studies that we've been conducting at Dr. Rath Research Institute. And as many of you know, we've been doing research, innovative approaches when it comes to application of micronutrients in various aspects of health. And this also includes bacterial and viral infections. So on the following pages, I will present you of a few examples of from this research in a very simple form. So you don't need to be a scientist or have a background in medicine or research to understand what is the implication of these results. But if you want to learn and you want to read all the publications, I am inviting you to go to our research website, and you can find original copies of studies that were published. Here, just a short glimpse of our researchers at work. Micronutrients are more effective than individual pharmaceutical drugs in the aspect that they can affect multiple stages of infections, multiple reactions in the body at the same time. So they are not very specific to one type or two types of the reaction. They are everywhere, and they play a role in the entire body metabolism. So what we know that micronutrients can either kill pathogens or stop multiplication of pathogens such as viruses. And the nutrients that have been researched and on this aspect and shown to be effective include vitamin C and acetylcysteine. Also, many plant components have antibacterial efficacy. Micronutrients are also needed to control the spread of infectious agents, and many of them, such as also vitamin C, amino acids, lysine, green tea extract, have been shown to inhibit enzymes that our body uses to dissolve surrounding cell connective tissue and facilitate spread of viruses. And also, these micronutrients are needed for the production of white blood cells, for the production of various organs that are involved in immune defense. So let's go to our studies that were done with human flu virus H1N1. H1N1 is the most common cause of different outbreaks of flu. What the numbers and letters H1 and N1 tell us? H1 identify the surface protein, which is called hemagglutinin, and as I said earlier, it's the glue that attach virus to the cell. And number one, identify the type of hemagglutinin, and N refers to the presence of neuraminidase, the enzyme that is used to dissolve, make holes in the cellular membrane and let the virus in, but also it's used to spread viruses. And it says that this is type 1. So we tested the efficacy of various micronutrients that were applied in synergy on the first of all, the activity of the enzyme that viruses use to enter the cell or spread, which is neuraminidase. So we look whether micronutrients can inhibit or decrease activity of this enzyme. We also looked whether micronutrients can stop production of neuraminidase, and also at the other effects such as multiplication of the virus in cells that were already infected with H1N1 virus. So we could show that micronutrients that contain vitamin C, amino acids, lysine, proline, green tea extract, quercetin, selenium, and acetylcysteine, and others, working together could first decrease the activity of neuraminidase, this enzyme that is needed for infectivity, and also stop production of neuraminidase. So on the left-hand side, you can see if there are no micronutrients around the cells, viruses can freely infect the cells. But with micronutrients on the right-hand side, you can see that viruses cannot get inside the cell, and therefore they cannot multiply inside the cell. Even more, we could show that this micronutrients mixture can stop multiplication of flu viruses in the cell that were already infected with the virus. So without micronutrients, viruses multiply freely in the cells, but if these micronutrients were present, multiplication of flu viruses stopped. What we could also show is that synergy of several micronutrients is more effective than a single component when it comes to infectivity of flu virus. And this single component was vitamin C, which is by itself effective. But we applied vitamin C in a dose that caused about 20% decrease of infectivity of the human flu virus. However, if the same amount, the same dose of vitamin C was combined with other nutrients in this synergistic way, you can see that multiplication of flu virus could decrease by 71%, which is significant difference. So conclusion, synergy is better. And also we look at the efficacy of vitamin C, which is a very known compound, and as you may know, intravenous vitamin C is being used now in different countries to treat patients who are infected with coronavirus, and what the results show that it's very helpful in also in coronavirus infection. But we looked at the efficacy of vitamin C in protecting lung tissue against damage by human influenza. And we studied this using a specific strain of mice, which, like humans, cannot produce vitamin C. So they need to get vitamin C in a diet. And what we showed is that if there is no vitamin C in the diet of these mice, then flu infection, the viral infection spreads, and there is damage to the lung tissue. However, where vitamin C was provided in the diet, then lung tissue was protected from the damage by human H1N1 virus infection. Now I would like to show you that micronutrients were also effective against another type of flu viruses. This time it was H5N1, which caused human epidemics in recent years. While bird flu virus attacks birds, chicken, and other birds, it poses a threat to humans because there is easy bird and human viral transmission. So Infection with this bird flu virus results in a severe form of pneumonia. And while the spread of this infection is rather slow, the outcome is very often fatal, as up to 50% who contract this flu may die from infection. So, of course, the numbers vary, but it is a very serious virus. And the World Health Organization recommended that antiretroviral drugs like Tamiflu should be prescribed for prevention and treatment of bird flu, and this was during the most recent bird flu pandemic. However, there are no official recommendations when it comes to supporting our body with micronutrients. But here I will show you how micronutrients are effective compared to antiretroviral drugs, including Tamiflu, in protecting cells against damage and death. So this study we conducted with human cells that were infected with the bird flu virus. And then 2 hours later, after this infection, we applied either no treatment, we applied Tamiflu, we applied another antiretroviral drug, amantadine, and we also applied a mixture of micronutrients. And then we look how many cells survived under these treatments 3 days later. And to our surprise, we could see that if nothing was done, about only 20% of cells survived the infection, and also the same percentage, 20% of cells survived the infection in the presence of amantadine drugs. Tamiflu was more effective, and half of the cells, 50% of cells, survived, so it shows some protection. However, in the presence of micronutrients, these micronutrients that are ignored by all official recommendations, 90% cells were alive, which shows that even when micronutrients are administered few hours after this infection occurs, there is a high protection of cells against damage by this flu virus. We expanded the studies on the efficacy of micronutrients to another type of bird flu virus, which is called H9N2, which mostly affects birds worldwide, but also it is known that it can be transmitted to humans. So we conducted a series of experiments in vitro and in vivo that confirms the antiviral efficacy of this micronutrient synergy. We could observe decreased infectivity of the virus and also protection of organs that are attacked by the virus. And also these micronutrients were effective in decreasing secondary infection in those birds, with a weaker immune system. The birds became prone to infection by bacteria such as E. coli, and we have shown that micronutrients can prevent it. And here just one of the results showing how micronutrients that were administered in the diet of these birds protected key body organs that are attacked by this flu virus, which is trachea and intestines. So birds that did not get these micronutrients in the diet had about 47% of this bird got infection in trachea, and 23% of birds had their intestines infected by this flu virus. However, the birds that were consuming micronutrients were free of infections. So we have many more data that relates to the efficacy of micronutrients in various aspects of flu, with various types of flu. But so what I would like to recommend now is that you study this, you learn more about which micronutrients, how micronutrients can protect our immune system, and take advantage of this knowledge and supplement with essential micronutrients, follow healthy diet, keep all other precautions so you protect yourself also against this infection by coronavirus. Thank you for your attention.